If I could hand you one piece of equipment, just one thing that could change how you swim forever, I'd hand you this, a front-facing snorkel. Now I know, you've probably seen these tossed into gear bags or used by the technique kids who always look like they're doing something weird during their warm-up. But here's the truth. The simple piece of plastic might be the most important tool ever invented for swimmers. And I'll say this, if snorkels had been around when I was a teenager, I would have been a completely different swimmer. Back in the 90s, we didn't have these. I was all arms and power. My head was all over the place. It would constantly be moving left, right, up, down. It looks like it had a shake. And I had no idea how much it was costing me. Every time I turned to breathe, my hips dropped, my catch slipped, my rhythm broke. And I didn't even know it. If I'd had a snorkel back then, it would have fixed that instantly. So in this video, I'm going to break down why the front snorkel is the single best training tool you can use to master your body line, your breathing, and your rhythm, and how to actually use it the right way. Because like any tool, it's not magic. But when you understand how it works, it feels like it is. But first, let me tell you who I am and why I care so much about something so simple as a snorkel. I'm Coach Chris, head swim coach for the Swim Accelerator. National level athlete for over 2 decades, and now a coach to swimmers chasing everything from sectionals to their first JO cuts. I've spent over 20 years studying some of the best minds in our sport. People like Dave Marsh, Mike Bottom, Todd DeSerbo, Bob Bowman. And one thing all of them teach is the exact same. Connection beats chaos. Every swimmer has the same battle, trying to stay balanced, efficient, and fast while fighting the water. The snorkel gives you the one thing you can't get anywhere else, pure awareness. When I say I believe in this tool, I mean it. If I could go back in time and add one thing to my own training, it wouldn't be more volume, more weights, or even a better tech suit. It'd be a snorkel. So let's start with the big picture, why this tool matters. A front snorkel removes one of swimming's biggest variables, breathing rotation. That constant need to turn your head and time your breath adds chaos to your body line. It breaks the flow. It shifts your balance every time. It distracts your brain from the one thing that actually matters, your connection to the water. The snorkel frees you from that. It lets you experience your true body line, your natural equilibrium without interference. That's the true power of it. When you put on a snorkel and start to swim, you're training three major systems at the same time. Biomechanical balance, your spine, your head, and your hips align perfectly. Physiological control, you regulate your breath, not your breath regulating you. Neurological precision, you develop awareness of rhythm and flow without distraction. It's like flipping on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see what was always there, but never visible before. That's why this simple plastic tube revolutionized training. It gave swimmers feedback no coach could tell you. Feedback from the water itself. Let's dig into the biomechanics and the physiology. When you swim without a snorkel, you constantly rotate your head. That head movement changes your body's center of gravity. It shifts slightly every time you breathe. That might seem small, but it's everything. When your head rotates, your spine curves, your hips twist, and your kick rhythm compensates to stabilize you. It's like driving with a flat tire. You can still move, but it takes more energy to stay on course. Now, put a snorkel on. Suddenly, your head stays still in perfect alignment. Your spine lengthens, your hips stabilize, and your stroke finally lines up. You're not fighting rotation, you're moving through alignment. This position trains your neural pathways to memorize what correct balance feels like. And that's huge. Because when you take off that snorkel, your brain still knows what right feels like. Then there's the breathing element, something most swimmers completely overlook. A front snorkel adds respiratory resistance. This means you're training your diaphragm and lungs to control airflow. The results? Your breath becomes more efficient. You recover faster between sets and your endurance improves, all while swimming with a perfect body line. It's like doing precision strength training for your breathing system and posture at the same time. Okay, so hopefully by now you are convinced. You grab your snorkel, jump in the pool, and within seconds, you're coughing like you've just swallowed the entire ocean. That's normal. Every swimmer struggles the first few times they use it. Here's how to make it super easy on yourself. Start by just being static. Don't swim yet. Stand in the shallow end of your pool and face in the water and just breathe with that snorkel on. Feel that difference. Notice how much you have to use your mouth rather than any other part of your body. Inhale slowly through the mouthpiece. Exhale gently. Do this for like 2 to 3 minutes. You're retraining your brain. It's used to associating face in the water with don't breathe. Now build on that. Do kick only. Grab a board, or if you want to challenge yourself, go streamline kick with the snorkel on. Focus on smooth, rhythmic breathing. No gasps, no tension. Exhale fully each time. That's the key. And finally, now add short swims. Start with just simple 25s. Don't rush. Focus on smooth, balanced strokes. Head still, eyes down, long body line. And if a bit of water does get into that tube, pretend you're a whale blowing out their spout. Spray everybody with a nice big. The goal isn't distant yet. It's just calmness. When your breathing rhythm feels effortless, then you're ready to build on the volume. So let's go even deeper still, because the snorkel isn't just a breathing aid, it's a transformation tool. Here's the biggest benefits you'll see when you start using it consistently. You get your body line mastery. Your head position defines your posture. When your head is still, your spine aligns, your hips rise, and your drag drops. The snorkel teaches you what true streamline feels like. Once you've felt that balance, you can recreate it every stroke, even without a snorkel. Breath control and lung power. You develop control under pressure. That low level resistance from the snorkel forces your lungs to work harder with less oxygen. It builds the same adaptation as hypoponic training and more controlled. Stroke symmetry. Every swimmer has a dominant side. When you remove breathing from the equation, your stroke becomes perfectly symmetrical. You can finally feel the weak side and fix it. On focus and feedback. Without the noise of breathing, your brain tunes into details. The bubbles, the water pressure, the sound of your hands catching. That kind of feedback is pure gold. You start to notice everything. And finally, mental flow. This one's just underrated. Swimming with a snorkel is meditative. You stop thinking about surviving each breath. You start feeling rhythm, tempo, and connection. It's like finding peace inside performance. I often talk about having a balance, a yin yang between relaxation and tension while you swim. A snorkel is the perfect add on to that. Now that you understand the benefits, let's turn this into practice. Here are my favorite snorkel progressions and drills for building real results. Start off with a drill and a streamline kick. This is basically baseline control. Kick on your front in a perfect streamline, head facing straight down, hands behind the head in that tight streamline. Eyes down, head still, chin tucked slightly. Focus on rhythm here. 4-beat or even a 6-beat kick. Consistent and relaxed. Use fins if needed. Think in your head, let your hips float. Let your head lead. This drill builds your foundation. You're training your brain to feel the natural float line of your body. Now that you have your float line, start to use a single arm freestyle. This isolates the connection between your core, your hips, and your catch. Alternate arms every 25. Keep your head completely still, looking at the bottom of the pool. Use a light flutter kick to maintain rotation. Think, let your body roll around your head, not your head around your body. You'll immediately notice which side is weaker, and you can strive to fix it. Now, I don't love catch-up freestyle, and I rarely use it, but with a snorkel, it can be very productive. So this is a classic drill, but with new depths. Both hands meet out front, streamline through the line before you pull. Watch your hand entry and the body roll. Watch as it comes underneath your body. Try to get that power triangle. The snorkel keeps your posture perfect. Repeat in your head every stroke. Pass through balance before power. One of the greatest ways you can use the snorkel is just adding simple sculling. It can be for front skull or mid skull, depending on your focus. This is all about feel. The snorkel lets you hold stable posture and focus entirely on pressure and grip. Feel the water push back and forth, not slipping through your fingers. And once you've built your confidence using a snorkel, test it under stress. Start to do 650s, maybe on a minute or faster. Treat it as a descend set, maybe descend 1 to 3, holding 4 to 6, something like that. Focus on maintaining posture and breathing calmly as you pick up your speed. You'll learn how to keep your body line steady even when the pace rises. A skill that carries you straight into racing. Like any tool, the snorkel can be used wrong. Here are the biggest mistakes I see swimmers make and how we can fix them before they become problems for you. First off, I see a lot of swimmers try to lift their heads. The second your head lifts, the whole purpose is gone. Keep your eyes down, not looking forward at the end of the pool. Think of the water as glass. Keep the back of your head glued to it. The snorkel is here to help that position. When swimmers start using a snorkel, they tend to overbreathe. Swimmers tend to suck in air like they're drowning. That creates tension and defeats the calm rhythm you're trying to build. Instead, focus on slow, rhythmic breathing. Exhale fully underwater. Let each inhale be small and smooth. You should feel relaxed using a snorkel. Sometimes when swimmers put on their snorkels, they let it tilt off to the side. Once you start to swim, if your snorkel is leading sideways, it'll flood with water. It'll create that drowning sensation for you. That's not actually the snorkel's fault, it's your alignment. Or if you happen to be moving still with that snorkel on and it fills with water, that is on you. Use the flooding as feedback. Your posture isn't centered. Realign, readjust, fix that centered line. Finally, you have ignoring the kick rhythm. A still head doesn't mean a dead body. Keep your legs active but balanced. The kick supports your posture. Think kick from your core, not from your knees. We've talked about this in other videos that I will link up above. I've worked with just about every tool imaginable: paddles, fins, bands, parachutes, power racks, drag socks, you name it. They all serve a purpose: strength, speed, endurance, power. But the snorkel, it serves every purpose at once. It fixes body line, it trains breathing control, it develops rhythm, symmetry, and awareness. And most importantly, it gives swimmers something they rarely get: peace inside the water. When I use snorkels with my athletes, I watch them transform. The noise in their stroke fades. They start listening to the water. And that's where breakthroughs happen. The front snorkel doesn't just build better swimmers, it builds calmer, more connected athletes. When I was swimming in the late 80s and 90s, we didn't have this technology available to us. Our training tools were stretch cords, buoys, and pure pain. We rarely even used paddles or fins. I used to breathe like I was typing on a typewriter. Yes, I am that old. Head snapping side to side every stroke. Water flying everywhere. I had no idea how much energy I was wasting. My coaches would tell me that they saw this from land, but had no way of fixing it. They would try to strap things onto my head to try to prevent the head motion, but it never worked. If I'd had a snorkel back then, it would have fixed everything I was struggling with: my unstable head position, my heavy hips, my uneven stroke. It would have forced me to learn connection and alignment earlier on, instead of muscling my way through sets. That's why I believe this is the greatest invention ever added to a swimmer's gear bag. It teaches you things that take years to feel otherwise. It gives you direct path to mastery in the water. If you don't have one yet, start simple. I recommend the FINIS Original Swimmer Snorkel. I believe it's available on their site. This is not a paid endorsement for them. I have no affiliation, nothing. It's just the one that I think is the best, especially if you're starting out. It's lightweight, it's durable, and perfectly balanced for body line training. It really is the gold standard, the one that sets the tone for every other model that followed. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need that purge valves, the adjustment tubes, or high resistance models yet, or even ever. Start with the FINIS original. Learn to control your breath, build your comfort, and master alignment first. Then, if you want to progress, add resistance or stability variants later. But there are better ways to do that. Swimming is all about motion, but mastery is stillness. The snorkel teaches you that. It quiets the noise, it strips away distraction, it forces you to be fully present. Head steady, body aligned, breath under control. And in that stillness, you discover what swimming always has been about: flow. If you want to get faster, learn to get quieter. If you want to swim lighter, learn to breathe smoother. And if you want to become the swimmer you were meant to be, grab a snorkel and start today. Because this little piece of plastic, it's not just equipment, it's awareness. So until next time, I'll see you between the laps.